Wonderful. Welcome, everyone. I'm Sophie Alexander from the Nutritional Wellness Center, and I'm excited that you're joining here for my talk, Unlocking the Power of Peptides, what they are and why they matter. Um, so as a little overview, just in case you don't know me, um, I've been the owner of Nutritional Wellness Center for going on 7 years now, and started as a client about 15 years ago myself because my own journey into nutrition, and particularly the technique of nutrition response testing that we use, really began with my own health issues, particularly when I got chronic Lyme when I was in my early 20s. And so it's been such a journey for me, experimenting on myself, learning about tools for my clients, and also, of course, unfortunately, my own background in dealing with chronic illness. I had the chronic Lyme as well as lived in mold for many years. So I just had a lot of experience of what that meant for me in terms of allergies, digestive issues, joint issues, hormone imbalances, right? But I'm very happy to say that my health is in such a better place than it was all those years ago. But I continue to age. My client base ages, or I experience new challenges with clients too, of especially in this post-COVID era. And so I'm always on the hunt for new tools. And I'm excited to talk about peptides because I feel like this is a big frontier that can be stronger, a tool that can be stronger than some of the whole food supplements and herbs that I work with, but it can be a tool for helping the body regenerate, repair, without unnecessary drugs or surgery. So I think peptides have become more aware and more popular, especially with the advent of these different GLP-1 drugs. You may know the names of Ozempic, Wegovy. Gosh, there's so many, Zepbound now, there are many more coming out. And you may have heard the term semaglutide or trizepatide, right? These drugs are actually peptides. And peptides have a long history of usage, particularly in the naturopathic doctor world. And I'm excited as they've become more popular and people are knowing more about them, that it's broadening availability and usage in other areas. So I'll get more into that in a moment, but I thought I'd start with just going through some basics and some fundamentals, right? So peptides are tiny building blocks in your body. They're made of amino acids. So they are essential messengers that help your body work better every day. So today I really want to get into how peptides boost energy, they help recovery, they slow aging, they can support overall health, and how we can utilize them, especially if we're needing an additional boost on top of what we're already doing with diet, lifestyle, and whole food supplementation and herbs. So peptides are short chains of amino acids. They are smaller than proteins. So you want to think of them as tiny strings that carry messages in your body, and they act like helpers, delivering instructions to cells to keep things running smoothly. And they talk to very specific receptors in the body. So proteins are just larger and made of many amino acids. And so peptides are they're a more specific tool, and it's a more specific message. So you can have hormones like insulin, they send these big long range signals, but peptides send quick targeted messages. They work fast, they have very specific jobs regulating cell activities. And supplementing with a peptide is giving the body that specific message and action to work on. So it's more targeted than supplementing with amino acids, right, which are the building blocks of peptides and the building blocks of proteins. But it's different. It acts differently in the body to give the body the amino acids, and then the body builds peptides and builds hormones. We want to give the body peptides to do the specific message. Peptides can help convert food into energy. It's like fueling your cells, like gasoline in a car, right, or a battery. They support brain clarity and mental sharpness throughout the day. You can think of them as your body's natural energy boosters that help keep you focused. There are certain ones that really help support recovery. So after exercise or stress or an injury, peptides can act like a repair crew, fixing small damages in your muscles and tissues. There are certain ones that reduce soreness, speed up healing, so you can feel better faster. And so, of course, it means you can recover quickly and stay active. And there's one I'm going to be talking about in a little bit that's very much known for that and has a long history of usage for injury recovery. And they overall help healthy aging. Peptides encourage collagen production. They keep skin firm and youthful, and they help support the actual scaffolding of the skin, keeping things tight in a block versus when it starts to sag and lose shape. They support muscle strength and joint flexibility to help you stay mobile. And so they overall are a wonderful tool for helping maintain balance in the body as you age and support vitality. There are certain ones that can regulate your immune system and help support your body's defense against illness. Support hormone balance, which can influence mood and energy levels, and can promote restful sleep, which is so essential for body restoration. So there are, as I was saying, there are very specific ones, and there's a lot of different peptides. I'm not going to go into all of them this evening, but I'm going to pull out some key ones, especially key ones that I've been experimenting with and have more experience with. But there are very specific ones that are energy booster peptides, right? So they help turn your food into fuel. They're more effectively waking up your cells, nourishing your cells. There's a lot of cool research around this with the mitochondria, giving the mitochondria, which are our body's battery, basically supporting that battery and then that production of energy in the body. A huge component of, keeping alert, helping with focus, sustained energy throughout the day. And is a huge piece, as we see, of just body repair, if the body has energy to repair, right? And if the mitochondria are doing well and are supported, then we see just a cascade of how that helps the body be healthier, happier, function more optimally. And then I was talked about the recovery peptide, right? So after a workout, there are peptides that accelerate muscle repair. They're a very skilled repair crew. It reduces inflammation and soreness so you can bounce back. Can be a big piece of just helping stay more active and avoiding prolonged injury or discomfort. So peptides interact with our bodies very specifically. They send messages to cells. It's like a very targeted text message between body parts. They tell cells when to grow, repair, or balance their functions. And these messages keep your body working in harmony and responding quickly. While this isn't a talk about GLP-1 drugs, right? It's a big way why those drugs for certain people can really shift things around with making them more insulin sensitive, kickstarting weight loss when weight loss has been so stubborn, because it's the peptides are talking to a very specific receptor in the body and communicating with that receptor and changing a pattern in the body. It's unfortunate that those peptides have really been taken over by the pharmaceutical industry, have been turned into these medications. A lot of my issues with those now drugs are really how they're utilized, how they're dosed, and the fact that people aren't doing the work that's needed along with them to maintain muscle and still eat well and exercise properly so that they're not losing weight too fast, and they're maintaining muscle and not just losing muscle when they lose weight. That's major side note, but it just keeps coming up in my brain when I talk about peptides, because I know this is a lot of what people's awareness of peptides are so far. But I'm excited about some of the ones that I'm going to talk about for potentially being an alternative to the GLP-1 when the body needs more help overcoming the insulin resistance and stubborn fat loss. So your body constantly produces peptides naturally to maintain your health. Some peptides come from the breakdowns of proteins in foods you eat. Sometimes boosting with supplements can help when more support is needed, right? And that's very much a philosophy of my practice as a nutritionist, right? Really work to have people get that foundation through food, through lifestyle with nutrition and eating. But targeted support can make such a difference when the body is not getting enough of what it needs. And I work with enough clients who are, they're eating well, they're working to exercise, right? And the damage that has occurred in their body because of whatever chronic illness or imbalances that they're dealing with, it's still an uphill climb to get the body to reverse the patterns that are happening. And I see that with mitochondrial stress. I see that with cellular energy, particularly. I do work with clients where it's so frustrating because the weight loss is so slow or stubborn, even when they are working hard to get the right amount of protein, to watch the carbohydrates in their diet, to be more active. And this is really where I see a missing piece that has more strength and potency than some of the supplements I've been working with, but is still very natural and recognized by the body. And we can just use it as a specific targeted tool and message when needed. So I'd like to talk to you about a company that I have been taking myself and experimenting on with a few clients who've been my initial guinea pigs. It's called Nueva Life, and they are making these high quality peptide blends. And what I think is really cool about what they're doing is that they are combining some certain peptides for their synergy and helping boost the effects of them. But they are just also really looking at cutting edge research, and they're formulating in a very careful way. So their products are high quality and high performing. I apologize that some of the things I'm going to start to talk about next are not in the slides. So you'll see in the chat that I put two handouts there for you, because I'm going to talk about two different peptide blends. So you can download the information sheets on both those blends. And then you'll also see two links to videos. They're short videos, but they summarize each of these products as well. And the slides on those videos go through a lot of the detailed information that I'm about to go through now. So you can revisit it and also have this breakdown, because I do not expect you to be memorizing or even writing down quickly what I'm about to go through. But unfortunately, yeah, I couldn't work it into the slides tonight. So yeah, a big part of why I settled on these peptides, because there are multiple companies doing peptides, was with their purity and the quality in mind, and the synergy of the blends that they're doing. So the product that I've been taking for the past couple months, and I'm starting to have a few clients take, is called Nueva Body. And it's got two specific peptides in it. One called 5-amino IMQ. And I'm really excited about this one in terms of its mitochondrial support. In general, this is a product that is designed for cellular energy and mitochondrial reset, and through that working on enhancing metabolic health. So 5-amino IMQ specifically boosts NAD, which is like known as our charger for our cells. And everybody, NAD decreases as we age. It can be impacted by our toxic load, right? It can be impacted by medications our body is processing. And so you can just think of that as the charger, the way the cells are being charged is dimming over time. And so this is a product that helps induce that cellular energy production again. But it's also a peptide that very specifically supports fat metabolism, helps preserve lean body mass, and through the work on NAD, as I just said, it really shines as supporting cellular energy and stabilizing the mitochondria. So what Nueva Life did is they took the 5-amino IMQ and combined it with another peptide called SLU-PP332. And a lot of people call that one SLOOP for short. And that one is interesting because it mimics aerobic exercise. So sometimes people, when they first take it, they almost feel like they've been active for a few minutes, like they've taken a brisk walk. Not everybody, that hadn't happened to me, but that some people describe that sensation. It increases mitochondrial activity. It also promotes fat burning and muscle preservation. So these guys are very synergistic together. I think of them as a great biohack for aging, supporting energy production, and I'm excited about it as a tool for fat loss in stubborn, well, just a tool for fat loss overall. It doesn't have to be a stubborn fat loss situation. What's really cool about these peptides is that they are tablets, right? They're in a beadlet formation, so they can pass through the gastric juices and still be active in the body. Because what has been such a barrier with, at least for me as a practitioner with peptides up until now, is that they have been injections, right? And so I'm very excited to have an effective tablet form. And yeah, and I'm excited to have a tool that to be helping stabilize mitochondria, inducing cellular energy for folks, and helping with situations where people need that boost with body composition. As I said, I've been taking it for 2 months, and the first thing I noticed was actually a quieting in cravings. I noticed like things just really shut down in terms of food noise. And I'm someone who, while I work really hard on not eating sugar, I do love chocolate, and um, yeah, I get cravings between meals for things like that, and it has just been, yeah, I've been shocked how I've not been hunting for chocolate. So that was sort of the first like, ooh, that's
Fréquent ce
cool.
voyage.
Oh, sorry if you don't mind muting and using the
Oui.
chat for questions. I'd appreciate that. Um,
Qu'est-ce que je vais dire? Tu n'as pas assez bu.
all right, I'll try and mute you myself. Um, all right, great. The second thing I really noticed was a decrease in bloating and inflammation overall. I remember being like, keep continuing to step on the scale, being like, have I lost weight? Like, I feel really different. Hadn't lost weight yet, but I just, yeah, things, yeah, it was a noticeable change. And it was very pleasantly surprised because I'm someone who, depending on where I am in my menstrual cycle, and especially as I get close to menstruation, I notice a quite increase in bloating and sometimes weight retention. None of that's been happening since I've been on the peptide. And then I think the most sustained change, or that has come to stand out the most long term, has been increased energy. Um, so yeah, I'm a mother of three and a business owner. And when I finish my days seeing clients, I'm usually really spent. But I go home to a homestead where there's goat chores and chicken chores, and I typically that all falls on my husband because I would get home and I'd be totally done. I'd be ready to put my kids to bed and be done at the end of the day. But for the past, especially the past month, it's felt really good actually to get out and move my body and do the walk out to the pasture and do the animal chores. And it's yeah, been a notable change with energy. And I generally yeah, as work hours have changed, and I've actually done some more work hours these past couple months, I've been to the gym less, but I do been walking more, I guess, out to the goat pasture, but I feel fitter overall. And though body composition has not, has changed a little bit, as I was saying, I'm not seeing those fluctuations throughout the month. And I've lost about 5 pounds and a percentage of body fat. So nothing radical, but it feels like a momentum that's going. And this product, Nueva Body, specifically, it's recommended to rotate on and off so that you avoid receptor fatigue. And that's a theme with peptides in general, is that because they're talking to a very specific receptor, you want to avoid the body developing receptor fatigue and stop listening. So it's recommended to take Nueva Body for 2 months, take a month off, take it for 2 months again, take a month off, and really evaluate longer term, because some of these changes and some of these patterning in the body, as we know, it's not immediate. It needs time to build. Oh yeah, and the final thing I wanted to recommend or say about the Nueva Body is also noticing a change with sleep as well. Just waking more rested, more restorative sleep. So that's, my personal experience. I'm still gathering data from clients. As I say, I have only a handful of folks who have started. I have colleagues who have definitely have their own personal stories, and I'm happy to share more of those with folks if interested. Um, and I have more colleagues seeing experience with applying it for, especially through the mitochondrial repair avenue, like working on autoimmune issues, working on fibromyalgia, particularly long COVID, and all the POTS and dysautonomia that we see with long COVID as well, with folks with chronic Lyme. So I'm excited about it in terms of all the benefits for aging and improving metabolic health, but for some of these more serious health concerns as well. All right, and then the other blend that you'll see listed there in the chat, and the video will summarize for you as well, is a product called Nueva Beauty. And Nueva Beauty really shines in terms of the repair and the renew of the body and the rejuvenation of the body of a group of peptides that are helping with repair. And I mentioned earlier in my talk, right, there's the peptide that really shines for supporting the body's natural tissue renewal process is one called BPC 157. And this has a long history of usage as an injection. But what's cool about it is it's a very hardy peptide. It comes from the body's gastric lining, and thus, or that's where it's made. And so it's a good one for withstanding gastric juices as well. And so I'm excited about it as a tablet form. So it encourages healthy gut lining, supports healthy joints and tendons, helps with recovery after exercise. It's a major go-to if there's any acute damage or injury. Um, and it's supporting the body's natural tissue repair process. And so what Nueva Life did is they combined that also with a copper peptide called GHK-CU, which supports skin firmness and elasticity. That's the peptide that I was talking about that really just helps maintain the grid of our cells, right? And helps their tightness and firmness. But it's also a peptide that helps support hair for stronger hair, helps with skin health and renewal, and in general, it plays a huge role in supporting collagen production and elastin production. And nicely, it's one of the peptides where people tend to see faster results. So within a month, I've been told, right? I have not personally taken this one, that people see the changes with their skin, see the firmness, and things like that. And this is a newer one that's come out just more recently, where the Nueva Body has been, that blend has been out for more months. And so I'm eager to see as I have clients start taking it, and I'll of course experiment myself too and have more personalized feedback in the future. And then the third peptide in this blend is called KPV. And I love that they put the KPV in this blend because it makes this blend not just about looks and beauty and skin, hair, and nails. It makes this blend much more about calming the body and supporting, so that the body is available to respond well to all the healing. The KPV is known as a peacekeeper peptide. It calms the skin, it calms the gut, it calms histamine reactions, it supports immune balance, it decreases inflammation. So I think that this peptide blend, the synergy of this blend, has much more far-reaching capacity. Though, of course, most people love if their skin, hair, and nails are stronger and firmer as they get older. But I think it could have, it'll be working on repairing all aspects of the body, and especially when we work on calming the gut and repairing the gut. then that connects to just so many health concerns and supports so much broader repair of systems. All right, so I know I threw a lot at you there with all of that. Please be reminded to go into the chat and get those videos and those handouts. But I really think if peptides are a really exciting potential, they have so much exciting potential, and I really think it's going to be the frontier of regenerative medicine and next steps with holistic health, because they're these tiny little groups of amino acids, but they're really impactful with health. And I'm eager to share more with you. So please don't hesitate to reach out if this is something you want to learn more about or learn if it would be a good fit for your health. I'm happy to share more of the resources or actual links to the product as to the products as well. Here's all the resources that we pulled from and all of the information from tonight's talk. And that's the end, folks. So don't hesitate to let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much all for joining me.